Hey guys, this is a video for anyone attempting Solo or Solo Flawless Spire of the Watcher on a Warlock during Season of the Seraph. The build I chose for this activity is not anything new. It has been around since Solo 3.0 was released, but it is still very effective for the task. I am of course talking about the Starfire Protocol Fusion Grenade build. I won't go into too much detail as there are countless other videos which I'm sure have optimized it better. However, here is a brief rundown of how it works. At the core of the build is the exotic chest piece Starfire Protocol, which allows for 2 fusion grenade charges and quick recharge of the grenade when you damage enemies in a rift or a well. This will be our main source of DPS for the final boss of the dungeon, but I've kept the build for the entire run as it's also great for survivability. For aspects, we need to run Touch of Flame so our fusion grenades explode twice, and I highly recommend Icarus Dash for the second aspect. The reason I run Icarus Dash is because movement is key to beating this dungeon. You rarely want to stand still. There will be times when you hear supplicants come behind you, or you need that extra bit of movement to escape an explosion or land safely, and Icarus Dash has your back. My fragment choices were as follows: Ember of Torches for making us radiant on powered melee hit, Solace for increased duration of radiant and restoration effects, Blistering which grants more grenade energy on solar ignition kills, and Ashes which applies more scorch to targets. Armor mods are extremely important for this dungeon. In the current season, there are 2 class item artifact mods which are super helpful, so we will use both. They are Weakened Clear and Solo Operative. Grenade launcher damage over time will be an integral part to the boss kills for this run, and being able to weaken them using this mod is the most anyone could ask for. Likewise, Solo Operative is a no-brainer, as it is a 15% extra damage buff if you're solo. The other mods I like to use are 1 Elemental Ordnance, which spawns an elemental well on grenade kill, 1 Elemental Charge, which will convert that well into taking charge times 2, 1 High Energy Fire, which grants a damage boost until next kill, and 1 Well of Life, which applies restoration upon pickup of a solar elemental well. Fill the rest of your free mod slots with anything that can get your resilience to 100, a submachine gun loader mod on the arms, and some Finder Scavenger mods for linear fusion rifles first, then grenade launcher at the Persis boss encounter. For remaining chest piece mods, I used Energy Diffusion Substrate and a Concussive Dampener for a bit more resistance. Your other stats besides resilience don't matter much, so just be sure to get your resilience to 100. Throughout the dungeon, I used a small variety of weapons, and I'll go through the loadouts as I discuss tips for each section, so let's get into it. The entrance encounter begins, and we need to shoot nodes to complete 4 circuits. The key is don't finish the job straight away. The moment you complete one of the circuits, supplicants will spawn in and make your life more difficult until the encounter is complete. Shoot every node except the last on all 4 circuits. Then when you're ready, shoot the last 4 in quick succession to complete it before any supplicants arrive. For this encounter, bring anything that can kill multiple adds quickly and a fusion rifle or shotgun to make quick work of the Arctrician Minotaur. Trinity Ghoul and a Riptide were my picks for this part. I didn't bother killing any Cyclops here as their attacks are too slow to hit a moving player, and they will just respawn anyway. If you feel safer taking them out, however, this is fine. Bring a linear fusion rifle or a xenophage to take them out easily. Otherwise, a sword would be good for another Minotaur slaying weapon that provides a bit of extra movement. Dropping down the big hole, and I see many people, including me on previous runs, mistime the jumps on the way down. Try and play it safe using your jump sparingly, so there is enough gas to land safely. Sometimes this isn't the case and you may need a cheeky Icarus Dash or sword swing to land safely. Here's one of my scuffed drops, but I was able to recover with an Icarus Dash. For the jumping section, I like to take out the adds up top and wait for the first Hydra to appear before shooting it down. With these enemies gone, it should be safe to complete the jumps and run to the lift at the end. Just be patient and take your time, there isn't any need to rush these jumps. Onto the official first encounter, Ascend. Here there is no final boss, so all you need is some good trash clearing weapons. A Riptide, Trinity Ghoul and a Void Machine Gun work wonders. The encounter is pretty easy when you know where all the nodes are, and this is just practice until you learn the locations. Make sure to clear any goblins in your way before making jumps, and here's the big tip: never kill a Hydra in the sky. The moment one dies, supplicants start appearing and this makes it harder. If things get dicey being shot by multiple goblins and the Hydra, there is no shame in popping an emergency well. There may also be a spot where you need to get to a ledge to see a node, but 2 Hydras are hovering nearby. You should play this safe and do a lap around the opposite way until we get back to the ledge. The Hydras will follow you around and move away from the spot you'll be at. A few more connections and you'll have the gravity lifts operational and the encounter will be over. The first real challenge is this next fight. Our old mate from Garden of Salvation has returned in the form of Achilles, the harpy with many eyes. I'm assuming you know the mechanics to this fight, so I'll just go over weapon loadout and a general strategy for staying alive. Our main source of DPS on this boss will come from Witherhoard tick damage and linear fusion rifle shots. I highly recommend the Valve the Disciple linear fusion rifle Cataclysmic with 4th times a charm and bait and switch. If you don't have this weapon, a crafted type N with triple tap and focus fury would work great as well. I usually hate swapping primary weapons mid-fight, but I feel it's safe to do this, and with a well-positioned rift, you shouldn't take too much damage doing the switch. To start, I recommend something long range and void. I used an under your skin bow. The reason we want long range is to deal with harpies in the distance, and also breaking the Minotaur's shield from a distance is nice too. These harpies will eventually add up, and there may come a time when you want to relieve some of this pressure, so pop a rift and shoot them down before damage phase. One other thing to look out for is when you're shooting the nodes, the boss may teleport near you if you're standing near a ledge. If you see this white animation, be sure to run quickly away from it, as it can and will cause a death if you're standing too close to it. After completing 3 of the circuits, find a safe spot to pop a rift and quickly swap your long-range weapon to an SMG. I liked Callus Minotaur for this, but any SMG should be fine. Complete the final circuit and prepare for boss damage. Pop a well and start shooting the eyes with your SMG, and once they are down, get to work on the main eye using a Witherhoard shot and your LFR. Remember, if you have bait and switch, make sure you get shots in with all your other weapons before firing the linear. You don't need to leave the well for any of the damage phase, and by the end, Achilles will be too far away for his explosion to push you back. If you struggle managing adds in the build-up to the damage phase, don't forget to use your fusion grenades to clear them out. The ones on the ground will drop an elemental well which you can pick up for Well of Life healing. Without any hiccups, you should be able to get Achilles down in 4 to 5 phases with this loadout. For the section leading to the final boss, I'll just give a tip for the fans. In the first fan part, I like to time the drop to the right. I've seen other videos that go directly into the chute ahead and straight down, but I've had a few times where this does not work for me, so I prefer to drop and glide safely to a ledge. On the second fan section, however, I do use the chute directly ahead to land on the exit. You can see in the video how it works. Okay, final boss time. Congrats on making it this far. If you do end up dying here, I recommend you play out the fight regardless, until you're really comfortable surviving and knowing where all the nodes are for the yellow circuits. Not having to think, oh, where is the next one, relieves a lot of stress when you already have supplicants and the boss chasing you. As mentioned at the start of the video, for the final fight against Persis, I rely heavily on fusion grenades to damage the boss. My supporting weapons are an Anarchy to apply damage over time, and the weakening debuff, and an auto-loading Vorpal Riptide. Here is the general strategy for staying alive in the red cable room. When the fight starts, you want to run in a circle, kiting the boss and the supplicants around. When possible, stick one Anarchy shot on each Hydra and they will die to it. I usually get the first Hydra as it spawns in. Supplicant management can be a bit risky staying still and shooting the supplicants as Persis and friends may catch you unaware, so get close and just before they detonate, run or Icarus dash away from them so they explode and you take minimal damage, if any. When it's somewhat less hectic, work on getting down an Arctrician Minotaur quickly using the fusion rifle or a grenade and get into a good position to shoot the red cable nodes. I find after doing a lap, Persis is on the opposite side and you're safe to shoot 2 or 3 nodes before having to move and shoot the remaining nodes. Hip-firing your SMG can also be helpful to not obstruct the radar, as some supplicants can come out of nowhere to ruin you while aiming down sights. With the red circuits done, the other room opens up, and here you can have a breather if needed. When the boss gets a little too close, or you need to recompose, just swap rooms, and come back when you're ready. There's no real trick to the next part, just take your time completing the cables and eventually you'll be ready for a damage phase. We'll get more just to keep it safer. Start the damage phase by popping a Well of Radiance and applying 2 Anarchy shots. Swap to the fusion and throw a grenade whenever it's up. When Anarchy runs out, reapply it and it should reload the fusion rifle. If you feel other weapons are better options, please feel free to use whatever you're comfortable with. I've heard Wither Horde and a Demolitionist rocket launcher is an absolute beast for DPS. Using the loadouts shown in the video, it should take 4 to 5 phases, but potentially less if you have higher light level. I'll let the video play out, but thank you all for watching if you made it all the way to the end. Good luck on Solo Flawless Spire of the Watcher. I have to be quick here and get a buff. Perfect. There we go! See, that wasn't so bad.
This was a clever incision by the witness. A multi-front attack. Sabotage us, glean knowledge,